lapis lazuli, snowy quartz, chrysoprase, moonstone, rose quartz, blue topaz, black obsidian. One of my favorites is emerald, citrine, and garnet. Every precious stone was thy covering. These aren't the actual stones. Those are different. The ones mentioned in the Bible are different. I'm Jack Knight Winters. This is Jack Frost University. Tonight I'm going to be talking about Lucifer. I'm going to be talking about stones. And I'm going to be talking about stars. And as it turns out, those are my three favorite topics. Isaiah 14:12 in the Old Testament of the Christian Bible says, "How art thou have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." Okay? And that right there is our first correlation between Lucifer and Venus, because Venus is the morning star, okay? It says son of the morning, okay? And what it's referring to as son of the morning is referring to the morning star, okay? Lucifer is known as Venus, phosphorus, okay? So Venus has a 584-day cycle, okay? It has this 584-day cycle where half the time Venus is referred to as the evening star, and the other half the time it's referred to as the morning star. If you look up into the sky in the wee hours of the morning, okay, half the time you're going to see Venus, which is a bright morning star, and it's going to be just coming up just above the horizon, okay? But shortly after you see Venus coming up above the horizon, you're going to see the sun. The sun's going to come up, and it's going to bring the daytime, okay? Morning time, okay? That's why they say Venus is the bringer of the light. They call Venus the light bearer, and so therefore Lucifer is the light bearer, okay? Lucifer is the morning star. He's the light bearer. He's the bringer of light, okay? Ezekiel 28 in that same Bible says, every precious stone was your covering, okay? It says you were a cherubim in Eden, the garden of God, and every precious stone was your covering. I've been obsessed with that scripture for so long because I love Venus and I love stones. It says, you walked amongst the fiery stones. You know, we are living stones. The Bible talks about this. We are living stones, okay? Jesus was the chief cornerstone, right? And Jesus said to Peter, he said, Peter, you are the rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, okay? The Bible's always talking about allegory. It's always speaking in allegorical ways, okay? It says we are trees a lot of the time. A lot of times it says we are stones. The stones is the one we're talking about today. This has always got my interest. I've always been interested in this scripture, okay? Oh, Lucifer. It says Lucifer. Oh, it's talking about that Ezekiel 28 thing. It's talking about King of Tyre. But a lot of scholars are associating this King of Tyre with Lucifer. And I'm not sure, but King of Tyre might be speaking about Hiram Abiff, the one that the Freemasons love and talk about a lot, okay? But every precious stone was thy covering. And I looked at the word covering, and I looked at the Strong's Concordance number for that. And what that means, covering, it means hedge of protection, okay? So that's what the stones are talking about. That's what that covering is. It's talking about a hedge of protection, okay? Now, why would you need a hedge of protection if you're not causing trouble, right? You need one, okay? If you're not bucking the system, if you're just going along with everything, if you're not trying to change the earth, for the better, if you're not trying to change the world, if you're just going to bow down to the system, pay your 50% in taxes, and yes, your taxes are about 50%, okay? Whenever you mention taxes, they're always referring to their federal income tax, and they say, oh, I'm only paying 30% a year. No, that's just federal tax, okay? You have state tax, you have city tax, okay? You have real estate tax, okay? You got sales tax, you got all kinds of taxes, okay? Not just your federal tax. Everyone's paying about 50% of their income out to the government, okay? Everyone's doped up on meds, our children are being medicated, okay? So if you're not planning on doing anything about this, you know what? You don't need a hedge of protection, okay? But people who shake the earth and change mankind for the better, they always have opposition, okay? Look at Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, CEO and founder of Amazon, right? He started off selling books. Right now, Jeff Bezos has about 6 armed guards around him at all times. Straight up, dude. Think about that. Why would someone who just gives people low prices on books, books and clothes, why is this guy got to have 6 armed guards? You know why? It doesn't seem like that big a deal. Most people are ignorant about this, okay? 99% of Earthlings, of Americans, they don't really understand how things work, okay? But when someone like Jeff Bezos comes up and all he's doing is like, hey, I'm just trying to give people a good price on clothing. What happens is he may make himself very wealthy, but it takes money out of the pockets of all these other companies, okay? His competition, which is a lot of times other corporations, they start losing money. And you know what happens when they lose money? They come at you with guns. Think about it. Why do you think he's got armed guards? That's his covering. Those armed guards are symbolized by stones. I don't know which stone. If I'd make one up, I'd say black obsidian, right? Because they ward off evil spirits with guns. But that's how the real world works. If you're trying to shake the world, if you're trying to transform it, increase the quality of life for people on a grand scale, make things cheaper for people, whatever you do, you're going to piss people off because you're taking money out of their pockets, okay? Especially corporations, and they'll come at you. They'll come at you with lawyers. They'll come at you with guns. That's why he needs 6 armed guards around him, Jeff Bezos, okay? That's his hedge of protection. And I'm not sure if that was given to him by God or universal intelligence, or if he just had enough intelligence to realize that's what he needed, okay? What else would Jeff Bezos need as a hedge of protection? Attorneys. You better have a good attorney if you're Jeff Bezos. You better have a really good attorney. You better have a really good investor. Someone smart like Warren Buffett to manage your investments, because just because you know how to make money in business doesn't mean you know how to invest money. Okay? You need armed guards. You need an investor. Okay? You need an attorney. You know who else you need? A media agent. You need someone in the media. You need a media agent to keep your media image clean. A lot of people cannot even think on this level, dude. But one little half-an-hour segment on Nightline, or maybe a YouTube video that goes viral or something, and you know what? Someone that makes as much money as Jeff Bezos or his company, they could end up losing $20 million in sales on a yearly, annual basis. So that's his hedge of protection. That Jeff Bezos has a hedge of protection, okay? Media agent, attorney, investor, armed guards. I mean, you need a whole host of people to protect you if you know what you're doing, okay? So that would be his covering, and each of those titles would be symbolized by a stone, okay? Now, if you look into this a little bit, because you should, it's really exciting. Lucifer only had 9 stones, okay? That scripture I was talking about, Ezekiel 28, it only listed off 9 stones, okay? A real priest of God, or the priest of the Old Testament God, whoever that was, had 12 stones. Lucifer only had 9. I find that interesting, man. He's about 3 short, and I don't know why. Maybe he didn't see a need for the other 3, okay? We are living stones. That's what that covering is. That's what this is talking about. Lucifer, also known as Venus. Now, Venus is a feminine energy, and I don't know if, and Lucifer's a male, so I don't know if he's just an ambassador of Venus or somehow associated with Venus, but there's definitely a connection there, okay? So here's a question. Are you allowing God or the universal intelligence to provide you with a covering? Do you even find it necessary? Like I said, if you're okay with being a slave to the system and you're okay with the way things are, I don't see how you can be. This country's nasty, dude. But there's a lot of change, man. Like I said, people are doped up on meds. People are unhappy. 1 out of 6, I guarantee you, is unhappy, and that's a big percentage. If you're trying to change things, transform the world, shake the world at its core for the better, and you're trying to increase the quality of life, just like Jeff Bezos, right? Offering people a better deal on books. You're going to affect people. You're going to be a big ship, and you're going to have a big wake. And big ships, man, they create some big waves, man, and people are affected by it, and they don't like it a lot of times. So you need a covering. You need a hedge of protection. And I believe that God and the universe can provide that. And each person that he or it puts in your life is going to be symbolized by a stone. Every precious stone was your covering. It's an interesting scripture, okay? I just wanted to talk about Lucifer, stones, and the stars for a minute. Peace out. This was kind of a short video, so I wanted to add a little bit to it. This planet's always been visited by people from outside of this, or on other planets. I mean, just because it's like as above, so below. As above, so below. Just like there are humans that want to travel from city to city and state to state and country to country, our souls like to migrate from star system to star system, okay? From star system to star system, from planet to planet, constellation to constellation, okay? Our souls like to travel too. And a lot of times we get these celestial visitors coming to this planet from other planets, okay? Melchizedek was one of them, right? Melchizedek. We don't hear too much about him. It's because he was visiting, okay? This is the guy that gave Abraham some, what did he give him, some bread and some wine or something like that? And Abraham gave him 1/10 of what he won in some kind of war. Melchizedek, okay, means Malak Zadok, okay? Malak means king, which is, and that word is represented by the owl. Okay, Malak is king. Zadok, if you look that up, it's very interesting. It's talking about Jupiter. Okay, Zadok is the astronomical term for Jupiter. Okay, so Melchizedek is the king of Jupiter, and he was here visiting Earth. Came into human form just like the rest of us, chilling out. That's why he's not really talked about in the Bible. There's a reason for that. He's not an earthly power. Okay, he's not from here. Melchizedek was king of Jupiter. Okay, there's a reason why there wasn't much said about him, and that's the reason why. He's not from here. He's just visiting. Jesus was an ascended master. He was not from here. What did Jesus say? I don't remember the scripture, but he said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would keep me from being arrested." Even Jesus wasn't from here. Find that really interesting, Thoth of ancient Egypt, the grand architect of the Great Pyramid, and probably the designer of all 3 pyramids, right? Left an encoded message in these pyramids, okay? The alignment of the pyramids of Egypt correlate to the 3 stars in Orion's Belt, right? Al-Nitak, Al-Nilam, and Mentaka. And he was from Orion. The 3 stars in Orion's Belt. It's talking about, those are the 3 wise men. that's mentioned in the Bible, right? Don't they look at Sirius or something? They're looking at the star Sirius, come to bring Jesus a gift. All that Bible, a lot of it is astrotheology. It's really exciting. It's really poetic. It's really romantic. All the stuff that's in there. We're always having these celestial visitors. It's kind of exciting. I just wanted to throw that in there. The Bible's always talking about all kinds of interesting people, but no one really wants to dig in too deep. They just like to look at the surface. The Bible's really romantic. It's very poetic. There's a lot of stuff in there. Okay?